Ukraine's Unmanned Systems Forces have successfully launched 17 attacks on Russian oil refineries in August, putting 2% of Russia's production capacity out of operation, the commander of the Unmanned Systems Forces, Madyar, reported. The Russian energy facilities targeted in August include Ryazan and Afipsky oil refineries, and the fuel and lubricants depot of AE, Sochi, fuel and lubricants depot, ERTAN, Saratov oil refinery, Unecha Transneft-Druzhba oil pumping station, Volgograd oil refinery and JSC, Nevinnomyssky Azot, Nikolskoye-Transneft, and the Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery. Also hit were Syzran, Kuibyshev, Krasnodar oil refineries and the Syzran refinery. Some of the oil facilities have been targeted more than once. The Ukrainian Defense Forces have been hitting Russian oil refineries even before August amid intensified Ukrainian attacks on strategic Russian facilities in occupied parts of Ukraine and on Russian soil as well. Some plants have been cleaned up since 2022 when Russia launched its full-fledged invasion of Ukraine. It should be added that there are still many Russian oil refineries that Ukraine's attack drones have either not yet reached or that the attacks have been unsuccessful. The main reason that these refineries have survived so far is only one: the great distance. Some of these refineries are located beyond the Urals, in Siberia or the Far East.
In occupied Luhansk, the fuel situation has reached a critical point. Against the backdrop of a gasoline shortage, motorists are complaining about mass theft. Criminals are opening the tanks of parked cars and pumping out fuel while drivers are away on business. Local residents are advised to leave their cars only in paid, guarded parking lots. Those who hope to fill up honestly face kilometer-long queues. As soon as a fuel truck appears, dozens of cars immediately rush to the gas station. Drivers spend several hours waiting and share photos of traffic jams near gas stations on social networks. Fuel shortages in Luhansk are directly related to the situation in Russia. After a series of Ukrainian drone and missile strikes on oil refineries, the Russian fuel system failed in several regions at once. The fuel shortage in Russia itself automatically hit the occupied territories where reserves and logistics were initially limited. For Luhansk, as well as for a number of Russian regions, gasoline has literally become a golden resource. Fuel theft, queues and panic show that the Russian occupation administration is not in control of the situation, and the region's residents are paying for Moscow's failures in the war and the economy. Recall, anger and frustration are growing in the Z community amid the fuel crisis that has engulfed Russia and the occupied territories. Propagandist Yevgeny Golman lost his temper and accused the Kremlin of betrayal due to the gasoline shortage. Golman reacted emotionally to the catastrophic situation with gasoline and directly blamed the Putin regime for the failure. According to him, the Russian government is unable to protect strategic facilities and has essentially betrayed its own citizens. Look what happened in Samara. They are beating up oil refineries. Why? Because this is the right war for Ukrainians, and we are dragging our feet, playing the bagpipes. They would have destroyed all the bridges and oil refineries long ago, but for some reason I don't understand it, this is not happening. The Ukrainians are beating us. As soon as there are any negotiations, they beat us even harder and beat us. You can't fill up in Lugansk anymore. God willing, they will give you 10 to 20 liters because they are beating up the infrastructure. They are being helped by the enemies who have taken over our power. For 50 years, they have dismembered us, corrupted us, fattened us up, sawed us up, sold us these bush legs, Snickers. They have lost the coast, declared the angry ZWAR correspondent. These words actually confirm that attacks on Russia's oil infrastructure have a colossal impact on the domestic situation in Russia. Even propagandists admit that the fuel crisis is hitting the system itself. Now, the transfer of heavy equipment by echelons via the Crimean Bridge to the temporarily occupied peninsula is almost impossible because the overpass is damaged. This was stated on air of the telethon by the representative of the Ukrainian Navy, Captain Third Rank, Dmitry Pletenchuk. He was asked whether the enemy was transferring equipment and territory from the occupied peninsula. It's a hub. In any case, there are a large number of different units there. However, it is practically impossible to transfer equipment, including heavily armed trains, across the same bridge. It is possible to take a risk, but its structure is damaged for this. One way or another, there are many different military facilities left in Crimea. Pletenchuk emphasized. He said that the destruction of air defense systems on the territory of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea is necessary, and recently the GUR destroyed several such systems, as well as a unique radio telescope, which is used by the enemy as an element of the GLONASS system, the Russian analogues of GPS, the speaker said. Behind Crimea are also hidden those objects that are in the eastern part of the Azov Black Sea region, because Crimea, unfortunately, is in the way of various means of destruction. Therefore, the destruction of such objects is important, mandatory. In any case, in Crimea, what we call a clap periodically occurs. Of course, in order to carry out such actions, you first need to get rid of what is in the way. He clarified that the enemy's air defense is in the way, and the air defense systems are the eyes. At the same time, the situation in the Black Sea remains unchanged. As of now, there are no units in the entire Azov Black Sea region. The bases, according to the speaker, are guarded by small boats that go out to the outer roadstead and various aircraft from the air. Recall on June the 3rd, the SBU blew up the Crimean Bridge underwater. The supports were mined with more than a ton of explosives in TNT equivalent. The explosive devices were activated remotely. According to the Ukrainian Special Services, the underwater supports of these supports were damaged. Recently, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's main intelligence directorate fighters destroyed objects of the Russian occupiers in the temporarily occupied Crimea. The UTES-T radar complex, the RT-70 radio telescope, the GLONASS satellite navigation system in a dome, the MP-10M1 MIS-M1 coastal radar station, and the 96L6AP radar from the S-400 anti-aircraft missile system. According to analysts, the rare RT-70 radio telescope, which became an element of the GLONASS system, the Russian equivalent of GPS, after the occupation of the peninsula, is a very painful loss for the Russian army. The telescope is a gigantic structure. Its parabolic antenna has a diameter of 70 meters, weighs up to 5,000 tons, and is 86 meters high.